So last night, the big September Nintendo Direct we had all been waiting for finally dropped, and overall reaction to it, I've got to say, has been pretty mixed. Not too surprising in terms of Directs. Of course, you're always going to have a split audience to some extent, but some of these announcements definitely had certain segments of fans hyped, while others were kind of upset. So let's talk about this thing. It opened with what was probably the worst kept secret of the whole thing. Overwatch is officially coming to Nintendo Switch on October 15th. I don't want to get too into this because I already talked about it when the case leaked, the Switch carrying case. But yeah, I feel this may be a bit of a too little too late type of situation. You know, a year and a half ago or so, I think this would have been a massive announcement. But I feel like lately the Overwatch hype has died down immensely, and so has the desire for it to come to the Switch. Still a nice game to have come over. I think it will find its audience, but it could have made a much bigger splash earlier on in the system's life. I think that's going to go down as a big missed opportunity. We got more information on Luigis Mansion 3, which, in terms of the single player at least, I feel is overkill at this point. Like, I'm starting to wonder if they've shown a bit too much in terms of what to expect. Like, they did this area overview showing off the different environments, looks at some more of the ghosts you encounter, and like, in terms of that stuff, I feel we've had enough. You've sold me, and I think you've sold a lot of other people as well. But it was cool to see this new team competitive mode, where you can do like up to 8 players 4v4 on the same system, by the way. That was interesting. There's a team of Luigis as well as a Guigi team, and you play against each other in mini games that consist of like catching ghosts, of course, and as well as collecting coins and breaking targets. I think it's been really impressive to see how much they're putting into this title in terms of multiplayer content. I just hope they haven't given away too much in terms of single player, and hope they haven't had to sacrifice much in terms of single player to get all this multiplayer content, but it's definitely looking to be a beefier game, I think, than a lot of people expected. Next, we had Super Kirby Clash. That's really all I have to say about this one, honestly. It's a free-to-start game, so I don't know much about the monetization yet. If you guys have checked it out, let me know how you feel about that aspect, as the game did shadow drop later in the day. But from the looks of it, it seems to be like a sort of a Kirby Monster Hunter. You get gear and level up, and you party with other players and take on increasingly difficult enemies. Just, it seemed like something I would play for a couple hours, then get bored and never touch it again. So if you have checked that out, let me know what you think. Similarly, Little Town Hero, I'm just not feeling this one either, guys. When I saw that Game Freak was making a new IP, I wanted to have the faith. But yeah, I don't know. I like the art style and some of the character designs. It was announced that Undertale's Toby Fox is going to be doing a lot of the music, which is, I'm sure the music will be fantastic then. But they really haven't shown me anything in terms of gameplay that has me the least bit intrigued. And that UI, guys, my god, does it look awful. I'm sorry, I don't feel there's a redeeming quality to be had with that UI. Looks like something you'd see in a crappy mobile game. Probably too late to do anything about it now, because I think it comes out in October, which is a shame, because it could really use a UI overhaul, in my opinion. Again, let me know if I'm missing something with this one, because yeah, like I said, I just don't feel like I've seen much, and you know, this is a new IP from Game Freak. I just feel like I should be more excited. Then there was what was probably the most anticipated portion of the Direct, Smash Brothers news. Banjo and Kazooie got a stealth drop right then and there, and we got our tease for the next character. Now, I wanted to talk about this a bit because I didn't get a chance to jump in when all the drama about a potential SNK representative leaked. A lot of people were really pissed about it, going as far to say it would be a wasted character slot. Myself, I've always felt like one of the best aspects of Smash is that it's a celebration of gaming's history. Not every character is necessarily at the peak of their height now or when they get in, but they all mean something to a ton of players out there. And in that case, I think the character we got, Terry Bogard, is a fine addition. SNK's titles like the Fatal Fury and King of Fighters games, Samurai Showdown, etc., they might not be the biggest thing now, but back in the old arcade days, they were right up there with, like, Capcom's Street Fighter, even going as far to prompt the Capcom vs. SNK franchise. Capcom vs. SNK 2 is still, in my opinion, one of the best fighting games ever made, period. And Terry is probably their most popular character, so yeah, it may not be as relevant these days or have the closest ties to Nintendo, but the same could be said for many of the characters already in Smash. And in terms of the history of gaming, SNK definitely deserves to be recognized, in my opinion. And if you are someone who still was freaking out about, this being a quote wasted slot, don't worry, because it was also confirmed that we're going beyond this initial character pack, and we'll see even more fighters come to Smash in the future. Like I said on Twitter after the news dropped, this is something I full well expected to happen. There's just too much money and hype, don't forget that, to be generated still with Smash. I mean, just with this announcement, you've ensured massive interest in at least, the next year of Nintendo Directs for sure. But even though it is something I expected, a lot of other people expected, I think we still have to mention just how much content, quality content, this game is going to be packed full of when it's all said and done. I mean, yeah, these DLC fighters, they cost extra, but they are well worth the price. You guys know me when it comes to, DLC microtransactions. I'm usually the first person to get pissed, and I have nothing negative to say about the, extra content offerings of Smash. So yeah, I just think Sakurai and the Smash team they're simply out there setting new standards on the regular for the industry, and yeah, they need to be commended for it. Oh, and I almost forgot with Smash, in the presentation that took place after the Direct, Sans was confirmed to be making his way to Smash. Well, yes, but actually no, right? He's coming in as part of the new Mii Fighter Pack as a costume. This is something I definitely want to know what people think about this. Obviously, it's one of those kind of cool, but not exactly what people were hoping for type deal. Myself, I think just getting a new version of Megalovania in Smash is a win, no matter how you slice it. But yeah, definitely curious to see what people think of that, fans of Undertale especially. And it wouldn't be a big Direct without a Wii U port getting announced, right? And I gotta say, this one kind of surprised me. A welcome surprise for sure. Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE, the epic anime crossover that practically no one played when it came out, is headed to the Switch. I really hope, and I've said this in past videos where I've talked about how I really want this game to get ported, because I hope it brings some new eyeballs to it. It was definitely a weird setup, a hard sell for a lot of people, I get it. This whole, oh, you're on a quest to becoming a Japanese pop idol, and oh, Chrom from Fire Emblem is here too, like what the hell? But I'll be damned if this isn't a hidden gem. I actually did a review on the original Wii U release when it came out a few years ago, so if you're interested in more of my in-depth thoughts on the game, go check that out for sure. Then there was a look at some of the new features in Pokemon Sword and Shield. And I'm not trying to be a hater here, guys. I really am not. But like, get hyped for being able to pick hairstyles. Guys, just because you are so far behind on the times doesn't mean I'm going to get all worked up over stuff that has long been the standards in like RPG type games. The camp stuff, similarly with the, like, oh, you get to play little games with your Pokemon and cook for them and that. Yeah, just not really exciting, in my opinion. And don't think I didn't see that Pokemon Go throwing circle that you had in there for the cooking, okay? I saw that. You want to put it in there, fine, but just keep those damn Go mechanics away from my wild encounters, okay? I will say I did like, what was it, Poltegeist? I liked everything about that Pokemon, the look of it, it's a little ghost in a teapot, the name, obviously, just digging it all around. There are several of the new Pokemon, I will say, for this game that I really do like. And that brought us to my absolute favorite announcement. After endlessly pestering Nintendo for them, one of the few things that could make the Nintendo Online subscription actually valuable, Super Nintendo games were confirmed for Nintendo Online. They kicked it off with a really solid launch lineup, 20 games that include the likes of, Super Metroid: A Link to the Past, Super Mario World, ton of other classics. Some have online functionality. There's a rewind function so you can backtrack when you screw up. They used Super Ghouls and Ghosts to show off that feature. Good choice for sure. And there is no additional cost for this. And yes, they plan to continue adding more. Just finally, we're getting some value here, boys. And now we are really starting to see this turn into a Nintendo Netflix type deal. And that is something I've said in the past. Yeah, I'm all for that. Not to mention Doom 64. Don't forget, was also announced to be coming to the Switch during this Direct. Sure, it's not going to be like part of the online or anything, but it's a 64 game, nonetheless. So here's hoping more aren't too far behind. In a similar vein to Sword and Shield, Animal Crossing New Horizons got a more extended feature. Myself, I'm not a big Animal Crossing guy. I've made that clear in a bunch of other videos. I don't even really feel like I'm one to really comment. Like, what I saw of the game looked good. Visually, I thought it looked beautiful. But I am still interested to hear what fans think of what we've seen so far in terms of gameplay, because it does appear to be quite different from past Animal Crossing titles. And I know when we got that first look at it, I saw a lot of people were actually not happy with it. You know, going this more like secluded island, you're doing a lot more crafting in that. So if you're a longtime fan, I'm more interested than, telling you what I think, because I don't really have too many thoughts on this. I'm more interested to know what you think. We're seeing more and more of this game. To the Animal Crossing fans, the people who are potentially buying this, how do you feel about what we've seen so far? And finally, the last big thing was the announcement of Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. Undoubtedly one of the best RPGs of its generation. If any game deserves this sort of treatment, it's the original Xenoblade, guys. Especially after that 3DS port, that thing was just... It was hard to even look at that game on 3DS. But yeah, the brief amount of footage we saw here looked amazing. And the title, Definitive Edition, is curious to me. This isn't just, Xenoblade Chronicles HD, Xenoblade Chronicles Remastered, Remake. Could that mean we're getting more in terms of game content as well? As some of the trailer does make it seem like we may even be getting some cut content from the original game. So, yeah, I'm very excited to see and learn more about this. And hopefully that will mean more Xenoblade love is coming. Would love to, of course, also see a port of X at some point in the future. But yeah, it's worth restating, if there is a game that, deserves this kind of tender love and care for a remaster, remake, whatever, it's Xenoblade Chronicles. So overall, I thought this Direct was okay, kind of mediocre. There were things about it definitely that I liked, but I feel like it was one for one, it was hurt a bit by the leaks, the SNK character, Overwatch. But we're also kind of in a weird place where it's like, we have a bunch of pretty big games about to release. We've got Pokemon Sword and Shield, Link's Awakening, Luigi's Mansion 3, Animal Crossing New Horizons is a little bit in the distance. But then we've also got a lot of games that we do know about that are much farther off, like Metroid Prime 4, Breath of the Wild 2, and surely they're not ready to talk more about that. So I do think we're just kind of in a bit of a weird time right now where it's like, we've got a lot of stuff coming that we've seen enough of, and there's a lot of stuff that's kind of farther off that they're probably not ready to talk about. Anyway, with that, this video's a wrap. Let me know your thoughts on this most recent Nintendo Direct in the comments. What did you think of the Direct as a whole, and what were the highlights for you? Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this discussion of the latest Nintendo Direct. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, and if you want to keep the conversation going, hit me up on Twitter @JohnnyZakari, and join my Discord, Chiguy and Friends, link to both in the description below. And as always, thanks for watching.